Hi, ThatPaulGuy. So many of us find ourselves now with the conundrum going on. I can't really call it what it is because, well, Google doesn't like that, YouTube doesn't like it. But anyway, so as not to cause panic. But anyway, a lot of us are finding ourselves having to work from home or having to stay at home. And so it kind of gets in the way of trying to be productive or trying to figure out. And many of us are now, especially if we're having to try to work remotely or working from home, find ourselves having a little bit of a struggle trying to get on track and figure things out. So I've got some tips that may or may not help. Hopefully they help, but it's some of the things that I do to make sure that I stay in the thick of things and on a roll, and I don't let things get me where I'm not being productive, or I'm trying to make sure that the work I get done every day is similar to or as well or as good as the work I would have done on location. So the first thing is, if you have to get up in the morning to commute to work, get up in the morning at the same time, leave the house. So if you even if it's just a walk to go get your mail, you want to get up, dress like you're going to work, shower or whatever it is, put the deodorant on, put the contacts in, whatever the thing is, get ready for work and leave the house at the same time. So like I said, even if you're just walking down to the mailbox to get your mail, do something like that. If you stop by Starbucks in the morning, or say McDonald's to get your coffee or whatever the deal is, and that place is fairly close, make that your commute. Drive to that Starbucks, drive to that McDonald's, drive to that, whatever it may be, go pick up your cup of coffee or your breakfast or what have you, and then turn around and come back. Make that your commute. If there's an amount of time, so you've got 10 or 15 extra minutes in between when you would start work and when you would, now that you've arrived back at your house, use that 10 or 15 minutes to do something like watch the weather or the local news or something like that, just to kind of, pass that time. But be prepared to start working at the normal time you would have to start working. So if you have to start working, if you're supposed to be at work by 8, be prepared to work by 8 o'clock. That doesn't mean go over there and, at 8 o'clock, it's a few minutes after, I'll wander over there. No, you want to go ahead and make sure that you're doing that on time. Leave the house on time, go run your errand or whatever it is. If it's too far away or some place that you normally pick up coffee when you're almost to work and it's too far away, pick a place that's closer. Bring it back, that's your commute, get ready to work. When you are ready to work, you want to make sure that you have an area that is dedicated for work itself. You want to make sure that whether it's a desk where your other computer is, say you've got a laptop from work you have to work on, set that up in a place where it's going to be free of distraction, that you can concentrate on, this is my workspace, I'm going to work here. Another thing you want to make sure you do besides that, we talked about getting up, getting dressed, going on your commute, picking up your coffee or whatever it is, and then having a dedicated workspace so you don't have any distractions. Many of us work in an environment where there's background noise going on constantly. There's always people that are talking, or there's always something going on, and even if they're not talking to you or distracting you, it's still background noise that's going on that won't be there under normal circumstances. It's all right to have a radio or a TV on in the background. Make sure it's not on something that you would normally watch on your day off. You can always DVR those shows. If you're watching a sports program or your soap operas or whatever it may be, DVR that. Don't be watching it at that time. You still have time or a schedule to be able to watch those shows, not while you're working. So you want to have something on in the background that's going to be, not making noise, but it's not going to be something that's going to distract you and pull you away from what you're actually working on. Finally, if you're taking breaks or you're taking lunch, I'm actually doing this on my lunch break. If you normally take a coffee break, or you get up after you've been at work for a couple hours and you go to grab a cup of coffee in the break room, or you take lunch 3 or 4 hours after you get to work, or whatever the deal is, keep that schedule. If you normally go, say, to a fast food restaurant or something like that to get lunch, or you go to, whatever it is, maybe you go to sit down at the Olive Garden or something and you have your half hour, your hour lunch, do something similar. If you pack your lunch, pack it that morning. It sounds a little bit strange, but pack it, get it ready, take that with you, or put it in the refrigerator, and you're going to use that as your lunchtime. You want that to stay as consistent as possible. You also want to make sure that at the end of the day, when it's time for you to get off work, and if you're in the middle of something and have to get to a stopping point, that's one thing, but don't let that drudge on, and don't let that continue on where that's taking up your evening and everything else as well, unless that's your normal work practice. So you want to make sure that your work times are your work times. That includes your breaks, your lunch, and stuff like that. And then finally, you might not decide you want to commute or do something like that on the way home. I know I already said finally. I'm sorry, finally. The last step is you might or might not decide you want to do something as a commute on the way home. But with a lot of us stuck in the house, that might be a time to where you get out, take a walk, go get the mail, whatever the deal is, and just kind of have that end of the day break that you can decompress with. So I hope it helps. It's a couple of quick and easy steps. Mainly it's creating a work environment that is similar to the environment you would already be in. And you want to make sure that when you're at work, you're working and you're productive and it's something you can do. The one thing you don't have to worry about is having your boss come by and look over your shoulder, unless of course you work for yourself. Anyway, I hope it helps. Give me some feedback. Like, share, subscribe, whatever. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What are you doing? What are your helpful tips to try to make sure that you're being productive? Are you having to do anything? Are you taking this entire time off and you've got some suggestions for other people that might be able to use their time because they don't have to work? Leave that all for me. I'm welcome to hear that too. So anyway, like I said, like, share, thumbs up, thumbs down. Subscribe if you like. Leave me any kind of comments. And until a couple days from now when I do an It's Thursday, that's all I got, folks. So I'll see you later.